So here we are for the first of our two semi-finals. It's Tim Henman of Britain against Andy Roddick of the United States, seeded 2, ranked now #1 in the world.
Time.
But Henman said he would receive, so it will be the mighty Roddick serve to open the Nothing like a little bit of luck.
Well, he's ridden it all week. Doing the same early on in this match. He's going to be trying to look to expose the Roddick backhand, but Henman likes to try and get to the Roddick forehand first in order to open up the court. Well, Henman a little bit lucky early on the return of serve as well. Just mistimed that one, but very effective because it dropped so short, and then he's got the best hands in the game around the net in good touch early on.
Yes, well played.
Roddick early on playing aggressively, taking advantage of the short ball and coming into the Henman forehand, which is probably his slightly weaker side.
Well, the tactic of making him serve first has worked. And certainly Roddick committing errors in that first game that I think he'll need to cut out. I think we both feel, don't we, that the serve of Roddick will be the key to the whole match.
The serve of Roddick and the outcome of the opening set, I think. If Henman can build on this early lead, then I think it would be very difficult to see Roddick coming back, as was the case last night with Federer. Players have half an eye on the Tennis Masters Cup, those that have qualified, and Henman's coming into these encounters so much fresher than the rest of the players because he spent much of the early part of the year recovering from injury, so a slightly different mental outlook that the Englishman holds. There's no doubt that Roddick's slightly weaker side is the backhand, particularly on the return of serve. So Henry will be looking to target that as much as possible, and he's going to still continue to come in as much as he has done throughout the week so far.
Yes, there's a good example of what you were saying.
His intelligent tennis, opening up the court by hitting to the Roddick forehand and then approaching to the backhand, asking him a very serious question. And the backhand passing shot's going to be key stroke in this encounter.
Well, you don't have to hit them at 1,000,000 miles an hour. 193 respectably fast, though Roddick will be well over 200 for most of his first serves. Kilometres per hour, of course, first ace. Well, the barometer of Henman's form is always the forehand and the serve. Each can be brilliant, each can be suspect. Well, a friendly net again.
It was good hands, though, because it was an effective return of serve, lower than the height of the net, but Henman's wrist moving firm enough.
So consolidating the original break nicely. Jason, the previous meetings between them were both played on a hard court. What difference will a carpet make? Perhaps you can tell us after this point.
I think it makes a considerable difference because the volleyer on this court has an advantage because the ball stays a lot lower. So when Henman comes into the net, either behind his serve or on an approach shot, the ball will stay lower initially, and then his volley will make it a little bit more difficult for Roddick to get under and make an effective pass. Without a doubt, Roddick's favourite surface is a hard court. Likes playing outdoors, but indoors, especially in Europe, yet to be as effective, particularly in terms of results. Good hustle by Henman, recovering cross-court under pressure, turning defence into attack, but then unable to make the distance and get around the net for the forehand.
Here's a little device that trembles when the ball clicks the top of the net and announces a bleep in the umpire's ear. Prepared for this tournament by playing in Madrid and Basel. Third round in Madrid, lost rather surprisingly to Massou, who was having a wonderful week, mind you. And in Basel to Nalbandian, so as you were saying, yet to prove himself indoors in Europe. And Henman still with a break, 2-1.
Well, I think it's been interesting to watch Roddick play in Europe in the last 3 or 4 weeks, and particularly this week. He has struggled from the back of the court, made a lot of unforced errors off the forehand, many more than you would imagine him, because he loves that shot. It's his favourite, and his backhand has been suspect as well, particularly on the return of serve. But the thing that's been holding his game together is the first delivery, and that's something that he did particularly well yesterday against Bjorkman, and against Hennescu went through the match without losing serve as well. So for Henman to have an early advantage here, making a breakthrough on the Roddick delivery is a huge advantage, but it's sometimes very difficult to maintain that advantage when you break serve so early, because the pressure does tend to build as the set progresses. And Roddick now perhaps feeling, well, I've got nothing to lose because I'm already a break down, might be able to open his shoulders a little bit more on the return of serve and be able to put Henman under more pressure. So first serve percentage, very important for Henman to try and keep the pressure on the American.
High up in the rafters, the posters blown up large of each of the seeded players. And Jeff Grant, who's been with us on commentary this week, was suggesting perhaps it would be a good idea also to have up there all the former champions of this event, and I think that is a nice idea. Perhaps the organisers will pick that up, because we have seen over the years some great winners here, and we'll be probably mentioning some of them later, including the man that this fella beat the other day, Sebastian Grosjean.
Well, this is what we were mentioning earlier about the advantage of the volleyer on this court surface. Look how low the ball stays off the volley. It was an excellent shot. Look how open the angle of the racket face is in order to get the ball up and over, but stays very low, makes it very difficult for the opponent to chase that down. Great shot from Henman, because he took pace off the ball on the last forehand. Instead of going for pace, he just added a little bit of spin coming around the outside edge of the ball to get the necessary spin. And look at the way the ball dips lower than the height of the net once it crosses the net, and therefore it doesn't run out of court.
No, it's a good kick serve, which he's been using for a lot of the year as a first serve, and it's a very good thing to vary.
Well, I think that's the key, John. He used to use it too often as a first serve. Players got used to that, but now he's varying it nicely, just throwing it in occasionally and keeping his opponent guessing. So therefore, it's much more effective now. Good hustle from Roddick here. It's a part of his game that he has improved since working with Brad Gilbert. Well, a lovely touch exhibited here. Roddick being brought into the net, and Henman just opening the angle of the racket, brushing up the back of the ball to get the necessary elevation, but it had enough topspin to dip into the court.
Oh, yes. What good footwork.
Well, it's a tremendous example of how confident Henman is now, having won this many matches in a week against the caliber of opponents he's being pitted against.
Interesting that Roddick continues to press forward, even though he's been lobbed and passed. He knows that this carpet court, the Taraflex, does suit the volleyer. He thought that was game. How amusing. Well, I don't know whether that means he's a little confused inside his head. Perhaps it does. A lovely kick serve of his own, just like Henman's, that won the previous service game. So, staying in touch, just the one break, 3-2 Henman.
Well, it's interesting, John, because I was talking to Henman after his victory yesterday against Federer, and I was suggesting that he's playing a lot more aggressively now, and he said yes, that's definitely something that he's tried to incorporate in his game plan in the last couple of weeks. He wants to try and come forward as much as possible to put as much pressure as possible on his opponents, and I think you can see already evidence of the effect that's having today on Roddick. Roddick is now coming in more because he knows Henman will take the net away from him and make life very difficult for the American if he doesn't do that.
Well, now that is something that he's worked out for himself. I think perhaps the working alone is working in his favour. I mean, Stefanki was the one who was saying, well, come on, stay back a bit more, play from the back, take a bit of pace off your first serve.
And I think Henman has definitely felt a lot more comfortable playing this style of play, and you can see that in the results he's had throughout the week. Henman really feeling very comfortable indeed, coming forward at every opportunity, particularly on the return of serve. He's going to look to chip charge as much as possible, use his backhand to great effect, but also what he's done this week that I haven't seen him do as much in the past is hit the over the forehand and come in behind that as well, and that's been a very effective return of serve. As a server, you would want to serve to your opponent's forehand if you think they're going to chip charge, because it's slightly more difficult to hit a slice approach shot, but he's been hitting topspin on that, and very effective it's been as well. So a lot to ponder for Roddick on his service games.
3-2. Bamboozled. Second ace.
Yet to lose a point when he makes his first serve, Henman, but Roddick struggling a little bit, so Henman starting as well as he could have imagined.
Saw the exasperation on Roddick's face, swinging around in despair after guessing right, but timing it poorly. Rushed it.
Has been a feature of the Henman game this week, taking the ball early, taking the time away that your opponent has to recover, but he's got to make sure that he doesn't get overzealous, take the ball a little bit too early and therefore rush the shot.
very important point right here. Henman to consolidate, Roddick to get a chance to break back.
Well, just struggling with the feet here a little bit. Henman taking a step across the ball instead of moving through the ball and having difficulty executing the shot as a result of that.
So the first chance to break back.
Well, more evidence of the tactics. Henman's going to try and use the backhand down the line was so that he could open up the court to approach to the Roddick backhand and force the American to pass on the run, something he doesn't like to do, particularly on that side.
Yeah, that's the old slider again. It does work on this court, doesn't it?
We've seen players use it all week to good effect. It's very difficult because the ball stays low, and if the server can get the ball short enough up the court, really forces the returner to move wide in order to get racket on ball.
Good serving. And the little mini crisis has been overcome. 4-2, and against both Kirtan and Federer, he had a game early on when he was in real trouble and survived both and went from strength to strength. His first ace. There's a little worried frown on Gilbert's face. You're late. Don't like that. Actually, the calls haven't been marvellous this week, have they?
No, there's been a few mistakes, and umpires have had to intervene on occasion, but that was a correct one. Ball definitely long of the service line.
So first ace followed by first double fault. Well, Roddick seems now to me to be just settling in a little.
Missed it.
Well, the fans always enjoy that one, the through-the-leg shot. And Henman ahead just the one break, still 4-3.
Well, I think there is evidence of Roddick settling into his game now, having dropped his opening serve. Henman using the block return, as he does most of the time. Lovely feel, as you would expect, but Roddick not giving up the chase, showing that he's a very talented individual, but Henman taking his eye off the ball and making contact with the volley a little bit too late, which is really inexcusable, because had he made Roddick work a little bit harder in that game, then you never know. Might have had the luxury of a double break. But Roddick hustling well, and it's important to stay within one game of Henman to put pressure on the Englishman, because there's no doubt that he will get a little bit tight when serving for the set. If you remember, in their first round match at the US Open, Henman served for the second set, but lost his serve to 15. Roddick went on to win the match in straight sets.
Well, plenty of reading material here. Roddick and Henman featuring in today's programme for the fans to learn a little bit more about them. Once again, Henman attempting to consolidate. First change of balls. Yeah, the forehand has been working as well as I've ever seen it, I think, this week.
Well, the court surface does help him a little bit, because he doesn't hit with a great deal of spin. The ball tends to stay a little bit low, and there you can see Roddick having to open the angle of the racket face, play a one-handed backhand on that shot, so does get a little bit of help from the surface, Henman. That's why he likes playing indoors, particularly in Europe. Henman trying to vary the tactics a little bit here, coming into the Roddick one, but American was ready for it, had time to set up, nice preparation. Look at the upper body rotation, keeping his eye on the ball, sweet shot.
And the Western grip. Good return. Made Henman rush his shot.
I've got to say a little bit negative there, Henman, on the tactics. Only serving 161 kilometres an hour and choosing to stay back behind it. Gave Roddick an ideal opportunity to make the return.
2 more break points right here.
can see the difference there, suddenly putting an extra 30 kilometers an hour on the serve, serving into Roddick's body. Very difficult for double-handers to get out of the way, to play an effective return when the serve is served directly at them.
Well, he thinks it was a fault, obviously, from his demeanour, but he did hit the line. Look, TMI confirming, right on. So that third ace getting him out of a little bit of bother. They don't like that. And a wry smile from Gilbert, who himself occasionally was known to do that sort of thing.
Well, it is one of the things that they have worked on together, trying to contain the frustration when Roddick isn't playing particularly well.
That is very negative.
It's a good return of serve, though, from Roddick. He's making Henman play deep in the court, not giving him an opportunity to come into the net. He knows that this is an opportunity to get right back in the match.
And change the momentum, which has been going Henman's way ever since he broke in the opening game. Well, nothing wrong with that serve.
Does love to use the slice serve out to the Roddick forehand in order to open up the court. 4 aces now for Henman. And the key is to be able to serve those big first serves when you need them most. 2 have come in this game when he's been under the most pressure he's felt in the match. This was good tennis from Roddick, because when he came in the net, he got caught there, had to backpedal a little bit, but very intelligently played a low slice shot, forced Henman to hit up, and then he was able to stand his ground at the net, forced the Englishman into error. So a good point under pressure from Roddick. More evidence of the new tactics that are at his disposal when he gets or finds himself under pressure. Well, Henman's had a lot of luck with net cords early in the match, but this one worked against him because the ball popped up. It allowed Roddick to get set and then pick his spot beautifully. Look at the balance there, the open stance, upper body rotation. And he's got an opportunity now to get back on level terms.
For the third time in this game, break point. But he's living dangerously as Henman.
And these are difficult shots sometimes because you've got to decide whether to go in and take it on the volley or to stop, let it bounce, and then hit a ground stroke from the center of the court. And Henman making the right decision, the ball popping up nicely so he could hit it at hip height. High margin for error. Well, he's got excellent hands, Henman, and smart, going back in the same direction that the ball was coming to him, so he wasn't giving Roddick an angle to pass. Firm wrist, look at the contact out in front of the body, technically superb.
Yes, good change up on serve. Not afraid to serve to the strength as a surprise. Unreal, Tim. Well, that scoreline is real enough, 5-3. And 2 games now he's survived dangerously.
Good example here of if you are coming into the net and you do elect to go short angle cross court, if it's not a winner, the opponent does have the open court to hit into. Good anticipation from Roddick and an excellent use of topspin to get the ball up and over the net into the space.
He wants to throw the pressure back on Henman, knowing how close he's been to break. Get a quick service game here. Good chip and charge. He has served well all week. Only 2 men have held break points against him before Henman today broke in the first game. Hanescu, who did break, and Robredo, who didn't. Second ace. And as good as an ace, a winning serve, putting the pressure right back on Henman, who will be serving for the set. He's 5-4.
At least you don't miss calls on big points. Mark, I mean, the Mark's staring me in the face at least that far out.
For me, it's very tough to me from center, so if I was sure, I would call it. Down the middle.
I mean, that's just so frustrating that you guys miss calls on break points like that.
Well, he thinks there was a missed call.
Even freaking new lines people every week. I mean, that must be good, huh?
But I don't think TMI agreed with that.
I haven't seen any of these people before, hardly.
They have been working the whole week, from qualifying.
Like I said, every week.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Every week, new week, yes?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I thought so. And that's just...
Well, the lines people are new. Of course, they don't travel like the umpires do and the supervisors. They're the professionals who are on the tour all the time, and the local umpires are recruited from the nation where the tournament takes place.
I think Roddick would be well advised to try and concentrate on staying in the present. He's got an opportunity. He knows how close he went with Henman in the Englishman's last service game. And he's got an opportunity now to put a little bit of pressure on him. And he's got to make sure that he doesn't dwell on the past and let that affect his current performance.
And we're going to learn a lot about Henman's state of mind in this service game. He's played very confidently all week, but this is a must-win game for him. Rather negative.
It's a very fine balance for Henman because the slice serve is the slice backhand is effective, particularly when he hits it softly and it goes low over the net. But if he doesn't quite time it right or doesn't commit to the shot, then he can make a lot of unforced errors.
Well, he's dug a hole for himself here, 2 errors. And not the fierce commitment and attack that he showed both against Kuchera and against Federer and against Kirtan. Perfect.
Well, it's a fantastic pass from Roddick, but he was allowed to stay in the rally. And he eventually brought Henman in, but approaching cross-court does leave the down-the-line open. He asked Roddick a question, and he was able to give the correct answer.
3 more break points. And there it is. One felt it was coming. And Henman only has himself to blame. Three unforced errors and the decision to go cross-court that's risky. Five all. He doesn't like those slice balls that stay low when he's trying to hit a pass. Well, not his fastest this week or even today. 209 today is his fastest, but good enough.
Starting to improve the effectiveness of the first serve, Roddick. 69% of points when the first serve goes in, 11 of 16. Gradually getting better as the set progresses.
Well, the aggressive Roddick moves ahead in this match for the very first time. He's 6-5.
Well, you've got to hand it to Roddick. He's stuck in there when he wasn't playing particularly well at the beginning of the set, and his game has improved as the set has progressed, particularly on serve. If we have a look at his service profile, we'll see he's only hit a couple of aces, so perhaps that's surprising. Henman's already got twice as many as that, but first serve percentage is getting better all the time. But look how effective it is. 58% going in, but 72% of points won when the first serve finds their mark. And the second serve, well, as you would expect, it's not quite as effective as the first, but it's still a pretty good percentage. Anything above 50% these guys are happy with, and Roddick up there on 62. I think if we then have a look at Henman's service profile, we'll see what's been causing the Englishman difficulties, particularly towards the latter stages of this set. 4 aces, as I said, 63% of first serves in. They have been very effective, 82% of points won. But look at the second serve, almost 1 in 5 points won when he's down to his second. So Roddick taking full advantage of that.
Well, he'll be sitting there knowing that he's chucked away the chance. He was serving for the set and wasn't the same determined, committed, attacking player. He tried to play safe, tried to extract the set from Roddick, hoping for errors rather than imposing it. Five, 6.
Kansas. 15.
Why, oh why, he's thinking, couldn't I have served like this 2 games ago?
14.
It's his 5th ace. Well, that was certainly a surprise, going down to the forehand with a second serve, but he missed. Well, fitting, I suppose, that this set should end in a tiebreak. It's been hotly contested, 1 break each. And we'll have a look now at how these two perform in tiebreaks. Henman in the negative, 7-1-10 lost, but look at this, Roddick, 36-1-15 lost. This big serve largely responsible for that statistic.
Deft touch on the return of serve from Henman. It's very difficult as the incoming serve and volleyer to not only have to play a half volley, but one that's got no real pace to feed off. And it proved too much for Roddick on that occasion. rally had progressed exactly as Henman wanted. Got the short ball, took advantage of it, came into the Roddick weakness, but very uncharacteristically missing a relatively easy backhand volley. Just didn't open the angle of the racket face enough to get the necessary elevation.
Going for a bigger one there, 195 kilometers per hour. Now the first point won by the server. So the tension building here.
Great point as far as Roddick's concerned, taking advantage of the short ball with the inside-out forehand and then kept his eye nicely on the ball for the smash. Those are tougher than they appear. Good target, getting the ball short up the court and bouncing it out of Henman's reach.
Well, you know that's always likely to happen. 217. The fastest today. And a third ace.
Kilometers an hour, that last serve, so just taking a little bit of pace off the ball but making sure the first went in. He knows how important it is, Henman, as Johan de Beer looks on, to keep his first serve percentage as high as possible in this tiebreak, because he knows that Roddick's enjoying a great deal of success when getting a look at the Henman's second.
Yes, that was a good bluff. Starting out a bit late for that approach to the net, and suddenly Roddick realizing he was coming.
Good to see Henman sticking with those aggressive tactics of coming in off the Roddick second serve. Exactly the right time to try and put Roddick under a little bit of extra pressure, and it worked.
And the ever chatty Gilbert must be wondering what's going to happen here. Henman 5-4.
So it's all getting a little bit nervy now. That forehand volley should have been put away, but giving Roddick another opportunity to stay in the rally, and then some excellent footwork by Henman to make the distance, enabled him to put the smash away.
Two set points. And one's enough. First ball in, first set to Henman. 55 minutes of play. Henman 7-6, the tiebreak 7-4.
Henman will be absolutely delighted with the results of that opening set, because he had his opportunities, didn't quite play as aggressively as he would have liked at key moments, allowed Roddick to get back in the match, and when Roddick gets into a tiebreak, odds are he's going to win it. But Henman coming through, and because he served particularly well, 65% of first serves in, and they were very effective, winning 83% of points when the first serve found their mark. 5 aces, two more than Roddick, so very effective. 18 winners and just 15 unforced errors, but the magic statistic taking advantage of 1 of 2 break points for Henman. Roddick, on the other hand, not quite serving as well as he would like, 56% of first serves, so that's something that the American will be looking to improve in his second set. But look at the ratio from the back of the court, 15 winners and just 7 unforced errors, but wasn't able to take advantage of the majority of his break point opportunities. So a little bit of improvement needed from Roddick if he's going to get back into this match.
Well, here are some of Henman's winners from that first set. The relief on his face considerable as he makes amends for failing to close it out when he served Foyt leading by 5 games to 4, and he did lose that game rather than Roddick winning it, and so all credit to him that he steadied the ship in the tiebreak. It's the first set that Roddick has lost this week, and here is the second set. Again, he thinks he's been hard done by on that call, but I think if we look at TMI, look, it did hit the line. Only just, but that's all it has to. Fretting inside he is at the moment, Roddick. He suspects that he's had a couple of bad calls, and he's frustrated with his own errors. Oh, he's missed that.
Roddick's turn to get a little bit of luck, and Henman really should have dealt with it. Had plenty of time, got up there, the ball at hip height, so it's easy shot to execute, but just overcooking it, perhaps keeping an eye on Roddick as he was moving to cover the space.
Just an hour we've been playing. Too good. And admitted by Roddick. Shot, he said.
Well, the difficulty is if you go cross-court with the return of serve and it's not low enough, it gives the opponent the opportunity to then go down the line into the space, and it's very difficult to make the distance and stay in the rally, as Roddick found out on that occasion.
Well, there it is. Henman off to a good start. Second set.
Well, one of the reasons that Henman's game plan matches up nicely to Roddick's is the fact that Henman chooses to chip the return of serve. If you look at the Roddick first serve outcome, the red balls are the ones that are unreturned, but the blue ones are the ones that Henman has managed to return the vast majority of shots. And then if we also have a look at the second serve, I think we'll see that Roddick's been trying to target the Henman backhand. Nice grouping from the American, but look how many Henman has been able to maintain and get into the court, the vast majority of those shots. So that's making Roddick play a lot of ground strokes and or volleys if he elects to serve and volley, and that makes life very difficult for the American.
Frustration must be considerable now. Just not working for him. I think we said before this match began, the match would probably turn on the quality of Roddick's serving and therefore, by inference, the quality of Henman's returning. And too many are coming back.
Something that Roddick isn't used to, playing the vast majority of opponents.
They guessed right, but just too fast for him. Well served, Roddick. When he needed it, getting a good first ball in.
1 game.
One all.
The advantage of playing in a stadium as good as this one is the fact that you can get a lot of air on the lobs, but Henman's got one of the best overheads in the game. Just putting a little bit of slice on that ball, so it gives him a slightly higher percentage of making the shot and allows him to get the necessary angle.
The telltale bleep, which fortunately we can hear. There are times when they turn down the volume, and it's so irritating because sometimes you just have no idea. The players particularly like to hear it.
Getting frustrated with the photographers there. Don't want to use flashes as he's playing, but this is a good indication of the help that volleyers get on this particular court surface. When he slid that backhand away from Roddick, it stayed very low and gave him a little bit less time to chase the ball down.
I must say, he's making Roddick cover a lot of court at the far end there.
That was one of the things Roddick said he didn't like about the Henman game, was the fact that he could use the slice backhand so effectively, very accurate, and make him cover a lot of court. Something Henman's been able to do effectively thus far in the match.
What a difference when the ball virtually hits the line on serve. Just that extra depth gives the receiver a split second less time to focus. Again, having to cover a lot of court and forced into error as Henman moves ahead 2-1.
Well, it's been a good match so far for Henman. He's been able to get the balance right between putting Roddick under enough pressure and keeping his unforced error count as low as possible. Of course, he has been under a little bit of pressure, so there's 18 in total. But as you would expect, 9 coming off the forehand and just 4 off the backhand. The forehand is the shot that breaks down on occasion, but of course he is trying to be slightly more aggressive with that wing than he is on the backhand. 3 errors at the net, so you would expect that to be as low as possible, and just a couple of double faults, which is key because sometimes that can be Henman's Achilles heel. If we have a look at the Roddick unforced error profile, I think we'll see that he's been a little bit tighter with his game, but 7 off the forehand and just 1 off the backhand, so that's unusual. You would expect the backhand to give Henman a few more cheap points and just the 1 double fault for a total of 10. So there's not much that Roddick needs to improve in that department. It's just a case of playing the big points better and perhaps slightly improving the first serve percentage.
And interestingly enough, Roddick, who hits so many blazing winners from the back of the court, normally has yet fewer winners in this match than Henman. Only 16, Henman 21. And it's the ratio between the winners and the unforced errors that decides so often the outcome of a match. Change of balls. One, 2, new balls, and Henman's changed his racket for the new balls. The ball boy failed to catch it. Well, Henman thinks that was out. He doesn't. And that's all that matters. The linesman failed to call. Mohamed Layani being asked by Henman, failing to respond.
Biggest of the week, 227 for Roddick. Warming to the task.
And that is up there. That's 141 miles an hour. Oh, that's in. I think he was lucky to get away with that, wasn't he?
Yeah, a lot of side spin on this ball. Usually hits it with topspin, but just hitting it a little bit too late, and that's why he was able to get such an extreme angle.
Yes, good serve. A lot of oomph on that one. Bringing us level at 2 games apiece in the second set. Still there for the win in this match. And Gilbert pretty pleased with that service game, particularly the last serve. Well, that was the one we were talking about.
He loves to hit the slice to not only make Roddick move, but then to bend to get underneath the ball. He has extreme grips, Roddick, Western grip on the forehand, so sometimes he does find it difficult playing on court surfaces like this one that allow the ball to skid through.
Not ready.
Good length on the return of serve. That's something that Roddick needs to try and do a little bit more of. Force Henman onto the back foot, but he can't dominate the rally.
Didn't time the swing on that serve. Roddick in attempting to hit a fierce forehand. Yes, very accurate. Not a good volley.
And that's an understatement. Roddick doing well to keep the ball as low as possible on the attempted backhand pass, but you'd expect Henman, who has some of the best hands in the game, to be able to deal with that volley a little bit better. But he gave Roddick enough time to make the distance, and then the American had plenty of time to go downtown with the pass.
Good example of the variety in his serving. The kick, first serve, doing its job. Henman, 3-2. Well, the Palais Omnisport de Paris-Bercy stages a lot of events, including indoor athletics and cycling and the rest. And for this configuration, 15,000 seats that are all with a perfect view. There's the British contingent, small but vociferous. And they've been a very, very good crowd for atmosphere this week, Jason.
Oh, it's been fantastic. Early on in the week, of course, there was a lot of Frenchmen doing well, and the crowd got right behind those. And they responded by having some excellent results. But Gregory Carraz was the last of the Frenchmen to survive in the main draw. And since then, the crowd have really appreciated just very good tennis from all concerned. The Americans have been out in force this week.
That's lovely. Speedy Andy, yeah, well, he is pretty quick. His service. Not quite sure about the hats. Well, they look like twins, those girls, don't they?
And they're up on the big video screen, so that's made their day. Spent last night getting that sign ready. And the Brits have been out in force this week, and what a week for them. Finally having something to celebrate, with Greg Rosetsky sidelined with injury, and Henman spending much of the year struggling to recover from his shoulder surgery. It's been a bare year, really, but they've been rewarded for their patience.
Greg Rosetsky, the last British winner here, back in 1998. He beat Pete Sampras famously. Rosetsky, incidentally, absent this week through injury, as he was in Madrid.
Excellent feel from Henman, again taking advantage of that second serve, using the slice backhand so effectively to return it. And then look how open the angle of the racket face is there to get the necessary slice on the ball to give Roddick a little bit more distance to cover. Roddick trying to break things up here by forcing Henman onto the back foot. But the American coming in and not closing the net off effectively enough. Still around the service line when Henman was able to pass with his favoured backhand side.
Incidentally, the last American winner here was Andre Agassi in '99. Sampras won it a couple of times. Nicely closed out with his 5th ace.
Well, I've been impressed with Roddick's attitude in this second set. He's not giving up the ghost. Federer was guilty of that towards the end of the encounter last night with Henman, but Roddick very much wants to consolidate his lead over Federer and make a little bit of a distance over Ferrero too in the race.
A very, very late call from Mohamed Layani, an overrule. A double fault then, his 3rd. Well, Roddick waited until Henman had started the toss and then moved wide so that he was able to run round and clout a forehand, simply because he knows how effective he can be against the Henman second serve. But the lowly percentage of winners from Henman on a second serve has improved considerably. Was down at about 23, now 42 for the match. Is this a moment of doubt in Henman's mind?
Well, it's certainly a key time in this second set. He's responded well in the first when under pressure, apart from the service game that he lost, and Johan de Beer will be hoping that he's going to respond just as well here. Desperate to find his first serve, and important to stay aggressive. Well, this is a fundamental difference of playing on an indoor carpet court and a hard court. This volley here would have popped up a little bit more on a hard. Roddick would definitely have been able to get his racket on the ball. But here in Paris, the ball staying nice and low, and Henman not having to do any more to win the point. It still was an excellent volley, but more frustration for Roddick.
I think that's what's bugging him so many times. He's failed on that forehand, that favourite forehand return. Decided a bit too late to come in there.
It was a nice smart shot by Roddick. He saw Henman coming in. Instead of trying to hit over the ball and pass Henman immediately, just took a hand off and dropped the ball down to Henman's feet. Made life very difficult for the Englishman.
Great athleticism as Henman darts down to his right to make the volley. And it takes him ahead, 4-3.
Well, Henman has displayed his not inconsiderable talents at the net throughout the match, and here's another good example of that. It's an excellent return of serve from Roddick, getting the ball lower than the height of the net, forcing Henman to move to his left, but he had excellent control of the racket face under extreme pressure. Look how he keeps an eye on the ball. Little check step there. Notices that the ball is moving across to the left-hand side, so he has to move as quickly as possible. Doesn't worry about his feet, just worries about getting the racket on ball. And then it's the control of the racket face under extreme pressure which distinguishes the average volleyers from the expert ones, and Henman certainly the latter rather than the former.
So far, so good, Henman would say, I think. Well, Henman's ability to hold his serve fairly easily in this second set has put a lot of pressure on Roddick now, because he's serving always to catch up.
Well, it does definitely add to the pressure, because as we get towards the business end of the set, it means that Roddick, if the players continue to hold their serve, will be serving to stay in the match. And if Henman can get up early in the game, it will certainly help the Englishman's cause.
Three, four. Well, a wild forehand again. The forehand has let him down today. That was his 11th unforced error on that wing.
Well, it's good tactics again from Henman, taking the initiative, and then the volley here, instead of opening the angle of the racket face, he almost came over that. And Roddick wasn't expecting such an aggressive volley from Henman under that kind of pressure. Forced the error.
Absolute perfection from the American.
An excellent tactic, using the serve to open up the court and then moving swiftly to his left in order to be able to play a forehand with the first shot of the rally. Good footwork and smart thinking.
But what a difference, you see. The second serve offers that sort of opportunity for Henman. The first certainly doesn't. So important now for Roddick to get a couple of good first serves in here.
nervy in this rally. Roddick doing the right thing, just bunting it up the line, holding his position, and Henman just taking his eye off the ball, mistiming it, but it was desperately close to going in.
Well, there are signs of tension here. A routine backhand in the net. Exactly the wrong moment. But Roddick showing signs of regrouping mentally here. And he has done. Terrific tennis from the American. Under all sorts of pressure too.
That was an excellent combination because the forehand, look how much spin he had on the ball. The follow-through ending up around his left hip. So you can see how much spin he was able to impart on the ball because of the excessive use of the wrist. Roddick doing everything he can to try and get past Henman, but it's easier said than done. Perhaps the lob would have been a better choice of shot. You can see how close Henman was to the net. Excellent court coverage from the athletic Englishman.
Well, that was an encouraging sign for the Henman fans that he was able to play an attacking forehand.
Pattern of play that Henman will want to use time and time again. Slice serve in order to open the court up, and then the forehand to the Roddick backhand, following it in just in case there's any more to do in the rally. But on that occasion there wasn't.
Signs of Henman's confidence rising again as he takes a 5-4 lead, second set.
Well, Henman now playing some of his best tennis of the match. First serve percentage is nice and high, 64%. He's managing to vary it nicely too, keeping Roddick guessing. The slice backhand has been very effective in keeping the ball as low as possible. See how low Roddick needs to go in order to whip the forehand up, and then Henman has the confidence, having won so many matches throughout the week, to be able to open the shoulders on the forehand, and Roddick has appreciated how well Henman has played, particularly under pressure in this second set.
So Henman just looking at himself on the big screen. There are two, one at each end of this huge arena. And when the pictures of the spectators appear, there are often a few wolf whistles if there's a picture of a pretty girl. But here we are with Roddick now on a must-win serve. And it's in.
Roddick paying a price for not doing enough with the backhand. If you go cross-court, it has to be a winner. Otherwise, Henman has the opportunity in this case to be able to hit into the space. Didn't need much pace, just the accuracy was the key. Courageous shot from Roddick. It was a good length serve and excellent footwork from the American enabled him to play just forehands from the back of the court, which is obviously something that he prefers.
One of his faster ones. 217. 135 miles per hour. Ace number 6 and 30-15.
Well, this certainly was unreal from Henman. Excellent control of the ball, great length on the approach, and then quite superb, but lovely hands.
Dangerous moments this for the world number one. And even more dangerous. Persisting with his volley attack, but missing at the crucial moment. The first match point. Well played, Roddick.
Gutsy second serve, excellent length. Henman unable to do enough with the return to put Roddick under enough pressure, but he had the courage of his convictions to continue to come in under extreme pressure.
Just wrong. Roddick can breathe again.
Well, that ball looked very close indeed, and the call was relatively late.
A lot of the crowd think that that was in. There's the fellow who called it. And Roddick survives. Managing a quiet smile with that seventh ace, getting him out of what had become a really difficult moment. But it's 5-all. Henman appealing to umpire Mohamed Layani for that forehand down the line, but no overrule. It has to come immediately. Oh, that's brilliant.
Best point of the match so far, without a doubt, from the Roddick point of view. Did so very well to get that backhand lower than the height of the net, and then not only to make the distance, but look at the control of the ball. Incredible use of the wrist. 121 kilometers an hour, but not as fast as many of his passing shots because he needed to hit so much top spin to get it over the net.
Well, we'll see how Henman answers the challenge. You'll remember twice in the first set, having broken in the opening game, he was threatened on serve. The 6th game, 1 break point. The 8th game, 3, all saved. This point really matters. Well, he knows how important that was. Love 30 has become 40-30. That's a brilliant return of serve, so deep.
That's the pressure it puts on opposition. When Roddick tends to hang in the backhand side of the court, it makes the target area so much smaller for the opposition, forcing them to go closer and closer to the single sideline. Living dangerously, Henman. It was a good tactical play. The ball to the Roddick backhand, but a little bit too close for comfort.
TMI confirming a line-clinging winner. Again, a little questioning of the eyes to the umpire. Was that a right call? Yes, it was, he says. And following in a second serve, very courageous, but unexpected, and it worked. Henman, 6-5.
Well, it's been a tough afternoon at the office so far for the newly crowned world #1.
Water.
He's done very well indeed to hang in the match, but it's been a frustrating afternoon. A lot of opportunities, but he hasn't been able to take advantage of many of them.
Just enjoyed watching himself there. Some of the antics he went through, he could see for himself. Well, let your dreams have a chance to exist. Nice advice. Henman's dream is to finish this year as high as possible to get a ranking, a seeding at the Australian Open. Well, perhaps worth taking a chance there. There was a gap. He's had a bit of bad luck with the net, as Roddick. How casual can you get?
Gutsy serve from Roddick. 191 as a second.
And it becomes the 8th ace. Going for his shots now, he can afford to.
Well, that's the confidence of serving better. You can open your shoulders when returning. 135 kilometers an hour speed Henman was able to generate on that last shot.
Good serving.
Good point by both players. Henman, the aggressor in the rally, from the return of serve onwards. Sticking with the tactics that have brought him so much success this week.
Wonderful stuff. Cool as you like, just stands there and wallops a 216 kph 9th ace. Yes, good serve again. So another tiebreak. Well, this is the 8th set he's played this week, and 5 of them now a tiebreak.
1-0. Roddick.
Well, how extraordinary. In the first set tiebreak, just as now, both the first 2 points went against the server.
Good return from Henman, keeping the ball nice and low. Roddick failing to move up to the ball sufficiently and able to execute the shot.
Well, rather like Jimmy Connors, who didn't like short balls on the forehand that were low. So with Roddick, he finds it difficult to control. Henman 2-1 with a mini break. Well, he can hardly bear to look. Well, Johan de Beer full of encouragement for his charge. The man he trains, and he's got him to a level of fitness following that difficult start to the year after the shoulder operation last November. He's got him really fit again. Oh, it is flying out. Oh, the net again. Taking apart.
And Henman deserves that piece of luck because he's done exceptionally well. It started with the return of serve, which unexpectedly went down to the Roddick forehand, and then again he's so difficult to pass at the net. His anticipatory skills are quite superb. Roddick trying his very best, even on his forehand though, not able to do enough to get the ball past Henman.
Looks as if this could be a soft ball. We've had a few of those this week.
Give me this.
Just taking it out of commission. There it is. In Liani's pocket. 1-5. I didn't hear the let. But there was a bleep. We heard it. That announced.
Machine call it, I have to call it.
Yes, that's right. If that bleeps, it has to be called. Well, I think we all heard that one.
I swear to God, you grew up on the power line.
Well, his chances of winning hang on a slender thread now. Henman 5-2. But you never know. Just how cool is Henman? Only he knows. Not as cool, perhaps, as he looks.
Hasn't served many double faults today, Henman. Just 2. It has in the past been his Achilles heel.
2 in this set and 4 overall.
Well, it was an excellent feel from Henman. Roddick doing exceptionally well to play such a good shot under such difficult circumstances.
But the attitude of the crowd will tell you that now Henman standing with 3 more match points. He's had 1. Two gone, 2 remain. And now a 4th chance, but on his serve. Now who on earth would call out like that? How absolutely ridiculous. And if the perpetrator of that can be found, I hope his neighbours shut him up.
Well, there's not enough on that serve. It's only 150 kilometres an hour. It wasn't deep enough or wide enough. And Roddick taking full advantage. Short backswing. Excellent return of serve under extreme pressure. And we've still got a match on our hands.
Well, match points have come and gone in other days this week. Quite extraordinary.
Well, the opening was there eventually for Roddick, unable to get sufficiently underneath the ball to get the necessary elevation.
So Henman now with a 5th chance to close this out. Well, you can actually feel the tension now. Roddick certainly could, missing that forehand. Taking his time sensibly here. This is number 6. And it's out. So Henman gains revenge for a first-round loss at the US Open, and for the second time this year beats the new world number 1, Andy Roddick, in straight sets. 7-6, 7-6, 2 hours and 1 minute of Henman magic.
Tim, I guess that this victory is going to stay a long time in your heart.
And a great hand for the American world number 1. He'll go off now to prepare for Houston, to consolidate his position atop the rankings and hopefully to win his first Tennis Masters Cup.
Frustration, I think, for Roddick, but delight for Henman. It was an excellent performance. Managed to keep a cool head under pressure. And what a week he's had. A former champion here, Sebastian Grosjean, took him out in the second round. A former world number 1, Gustavo Kuerten, took him out in the third round. The current Wimbledon champion took him out yesterday, and then the current US Open champion and world number 1 is taking him out today in straight sets. So what a week for Henman, and he moves into his third Masters Series final.
Well, Jason, I think we're going to learn a great deal from these statistics about Henman's improving form.
And the first thing to look at, really, when you're talking about any of Henman's matches is the first serve. 64% of the first serves in, but look how effective they were. He won 81% of points when the first serve went in, so that is key statistic. 34 winners and 31 unforced errors, so he played well from the back of the court as well. Didn't give Roddick too many cheap points and took advantage of one of his 3 break point opportunities, which is always important when playing Roddick. From Roddick's point of view, 55% of first serves, not quite enough, and 29 to 23 the ratio of winners to unforced errors. So he played a pretty tidy match from the back of the court, but didn't do enough on the Henman serve, only taking advantage of one of his 5 break points. So he'll be disappointed, but he has Houston to look forward to.
So let's now enjoy some of the golden moments from a golden match. What a wonderful moment for Henman as he saw that ball just miss the line. And congratulations from Roddick, who I must say is a very generous loser always, the first to applaud his opponent's winners.